Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to our Europa Universalis 4 beginner walkthrough with RedBstrd as Delhi. Where we last left our nation, we're trying to get Bagelkhand as a vassal. That way we can diplomatically integrate them in. Why do we want to do that? Well, because it doesn't upset people if we expand through diplomatic means. Causes no aggressive expansion. It doesn't require war. So that's nice. And then when we try to take that territory for ourselves by integrating them, it just uses diplomatic power. So if we expand through a combination of diplomacy, we're using our diplomatic power, and war will be coring stuff with administrative power, it sort of balances our costs out. That's kind of useful because we are further behind on administrative technology. So we don't want to have to core everything with admin points, which is what we normally need to do. Okay, so we're getting a claim here and 10 prestige. That's nice. And we're making respectable amounts of income. Eventually I'm going to get rid of this castle here after we've conquered our way over to this border. And then this will protect us from the north. This will protect us from the west. This will protect us from the east. This will protect us from the south. And people should have a lot of trouble getting to our capital. Our relations are sufficient to vassalize Bagelkhand. And I'm going to improve relations with Jharkhand with the goal of integrating them into our country. Now we got a little alert that warned us that our alliance with Bagelkhand was going to break. And that's just because as a vassal they're not allowed to have alliances. So it just told us that immediately, that we're not going to be an ally of Bagelkhand for any longer because we're going to have him as a vassal. That's kind of weird that they do that. I don't think it's entirely intentional. And we're just building up that fleet, so we will have 12 units of transports if we need them. And eventually we're going to back them up with warships. In a lot of cases, a lot of nations are going to want trade ships. But due to the way that trade goods are flowing as Delhi at the moment, they're not essential for us. We can fabricate a claim on Jampur. We need Jampur itself to form Hindustan. We also need Lower Doab. So that's the first one we're going to fabricate on. While we're waiting for this peace treaty to expire, I'm going to split this army in half. Move these troops over to suppress down those rebels. Remember, the presence of friendly troops lowers unrest. If we can get that unrest down to 0 or lower, then our Mewari separatists will lose organization every month, 10 of it every month. In 6 months' time, we won't have to worry about them at all. We have now another 400 points saved up, but as I noted, we do want to get caught up on administrative tech. This will teach us how to make workshops. And if we get our administrative technology up to level 7, we'll be able to pick yet another idea group. Okay, Timurids are no longer considered one of the great powers, and the wording here is glorious. The world has decided not to entertain Timurids' claim for greatness. Awesome. Love that Condescending, clever wording. That's strange, it told us twice. Well, we do like the wording, so revel in it. Let's improve relations with our allies a little bit. So once we get this next idea group, there's a couple obvious directions for us to go. We're ahead of time on both the diplomatic and military technology. So if we could get a diplomatic idea group, something from this branch, or we could get a military idea. And I'm thinking the best idea is to go for influence ideas, because we're expanding so much through diplomacy by vassalizing people. This gives us more income from our vassals, and it's 25% cheaper to annex people diplomatically. Costs us 25% less diplomatic power to do so. People get 20% less upset when we expand through military conquest. Our diplomatic reputation, how persuasive we are on the diplomatic stage, increases. We're allowed another relation, and since we're constantly over, that would essentially mean more diplomatic power each month. So that's a quite good one. And that would mean that we'll stay ahead on military technology, and we could start using these access points that we have for developing our country. Ew, we get a little bit of corruption. Okay, so what happens now that we have some corruption? We've got a half a point. So it is making everything like technology or stability or coring that uses these monarch points cost 0.5% more. So we can see it's added on there at the bottom. It says corruption plus 0.5%. Now we have lots of stuff that tells us that it's bringing down each year our corruption. And part of that is we can control with the slider here exactly how much we'd like to spend money to reduce corruption. If we've already got a bunch of bonuses bring it down, we don't need to focus too much cash on that. If we had a lot of corruption, we could get rid of a lot of it quickly by spending a lot of money. Liking our treasury starting to fill up. Speaking of that, let's take a look at anything that we could do. I'm not asking our Demi for anything. Maybe we could recruit from their ranks. We could recruit Hindus, demand that our Demi provide us with some soldiers. But we got plenty of manpower now. We could tax them. But I like the tolerance from the technology cost. We're really prospering with that. I buddied up to Baluchistan as much as possible, because again, our diplomat could only improve relations by 100. And when we're not working on improving those relations every year, they'll degrade by 3 points. Now let's work on our next ally. And we have 25 spy power. We fabricated the first claim, cost us 20. The next one costs us 25. Let's take claim Lower Doab. As soon as we can, in 2 years, we are going to invade them. We've suppressed these rebels, so we're going to get the troops back over to our border and be ready for war. Okay, Malwa is attacking Andhra. Let's get a little bit more information. Andhra is allied to Vijayanagar, Bastar, and Assam here. Malwa is allied to us, Bengal, and Gujarat. Okay, unbelievers coming in. We turn them away. Yes, we do, because we need our piety to remain at max. Okay, border friction. Our rightful provinces are held by other nations, and our government seem to be making no effort to recover them. What use are they anyway? Proclaims a broadsheet. Widespread dissatisfaction with our failure to recover our claimed provinces is sweeping our nation. Do we upset Timurids? Do we lose diplomatic power? I don't want to do that. Or do we give up our claim on Sinsagar? No, we are going to upset Timurids. Because, as we say, screw those guys. The Renaissance has finally spread to Jampur. And now we have enough points to buy up diplomatic technology. But it's ahead of time, so we'd be 40% extra. So the base of 600. Now each year this is going to decrease, and we're not at our maximum here. We're allowed to have up to 1,000 diplomatic points, so there's no rush. We don't have to buy this as soon as possible. We can just let those points accumulate. And we could just wait till the end of the year, because as we can see, it was 4 years ahead. Let's just update the screen. There's no like refresh, so we can just go to a different tab, and that updates the user interface. I should note that the costs here calculate correctly at the turn of the year. You don't have to switch tabs or close this out and bring it back up. The cost will be accurate. Now it's only 30% ahead of time. So let's go ahead and do it. We could have waited if we needed to, spent some of those points on development. But let's revel in the fact that we can have really good technology. Now we are 16 years ahead of schedule on both kinds of technology. So now we could freely develop with those points. And we're still waiting for April of next year when we can invade Jampur. Border friction. And again, we're going to sour relations between us and Delhi. Or sorry, between us and Timurids. Us and Timurids. I'm not used to playing as Delhi. And obviously, when you're getting used to playing, you're going to have to look through these more carefully than I am and decide what you want to do. But I play this enough that I know which one of those are of interest to me and which ones aren't. So Ardalan, the Timurid subject over here, is building up a spy network against us just because their overlord hates us. And we're ranked the 3rd greatest power in the world, behind France. Why they're greater? Because they have a lot more development than us. And the Ottomans, same thing, a lot more development than us. Eventually, we're going to own all of India. Finally finished our mission. So now our navies are cheaper for the next 10 years, and we produce ships 15% more quickly. That's nice. So now we have a choice of other missions. We can convert this province of Ajmer to Sunni, and our reward would be greater missionary strength, but we don't even care. We have no incentive to convert anything. We could conquer Badakhshan, and if we do so, we get more manpower, more prestige for the next 10 years. That's a pretty nice offer. And we should see exactly how tough the Timurids are. They've got 34,000 men. They're relying on mercenaries. So that might not be a bad idea. Wait till the next set of rebels pop up in their country. But we could also just try to become friends with the rival of our rival. So we hate the Timurids, Mamluks also hate the Timurids. This will be easy to accomplish. So let's do that. It'll be easy and quick, and then we could take one of the conquest-based ones. I do like the idea of getting some more diplomatic power, because very soon we're going to get this next idea group, and we're going to start working on an idea group in the diplomatic branch. So those points will allow us to unlock some ideas quickly. 1 second, I'm going to clear my throat. Okay, sorry about that. Just don't want the vocal quality degrading. Okay, we can claim a third province. Now I want Tirhut because that's got a fort. It's of value to us strategically, and we'd have nicer borders if we take Tirhut. Eventually we're going to want to expand in Nepal, but again, there's no rush. We've got friendly relations, and that territory isn't super valuable. Okay, so if we attack Jampur, we will go to war with Nepal. So let's get some troops up here. And we need another leader. Oh, we've got one. Okay, cities demand old rights. Do we deny them, upset our merchant guilds and lose stability, or accept them, make our merchant guilds happy and lose 20 legitimacy? We'll do that. So one of the nice things is we're so far ahead of time on military attack that we could put our military points to other uses. Now one of these options that we haven't taken advantage of is that we could spend 100 of our military points to increase our legitimacy by 10. So let's do that. And why? Our legitimacy makes us less likely to face revolts, increases our diplomatic reputation, our strength on the diplomatic stage, and increases our income from vassals. Let's do that. And we have, since we improved our diplomatic technology to level 8, it gave us an additional promoted culture, another culture that we can promote. I can see that 7% of our development is in provinces that are Sindhi culture. So in those provinces currently, the unrest is a little bit higher, we're getting less taxes, getting fewer sailors, and that's important because that's our only port. But we could take away all those penalties for the cost of 100 diplomatic power. Let's do that. And we're allowed more ships. Let's get a big ship, a heavy warship. Protect our transports in case they ever get into battle. Honest merchants. Since we have low corruption, people trust our merchants, and we get Some more trade power will be making more money off of trade. Okay. Yeah, our neighbors are all involved in this war. It looks like it isn't going too well for Gujarat. I'm wondering if... Oh, we could invade them without Malwa intervening. We don't have any cause for war yet, so let's start building up a spy network there. And pull our guy back from Jampur. He's done this job. We're going to invade, and we need to announce what this war is over. I say the conquest of Lower Doab. Nepal is going to join into the war. And we don't really want to take anything from them right now. We will eventually. But for right now, so we're not going to mark them as a co-belligerent. So we just declare that war. We're going to move in right away to crush Jampur's army. And then these guys we're going to right away wait a day till they're called into the war. And move on to Nepal's territory. And what we really want is their capital fort, so let's just detach a siege, detach sufficient troops to siege out this province, which is 1,000 guys because there's no fort. And move the rest of our troops onward. We slaughtered the army of Jampur. And our general, our good 2-star general, just got a personality trait. He's goal-oriented. He moves. These troops will move 10% more quickly. Good for them. We only need 9,000 troops here. So let's leave. $10,000, just so we have a little bit of spare. And move the rest onto Varanasi and onward to the next fort. The army of Nepal has snuck past us somehow. Oh, our spy master died. So we could afford to get a better guy. We're making almost 14 ducats a month, so let's pay 5 of that each month for Abdullah Kokar. Why? Because he's a +2. And he helps with better relations over time, so people get over our aggressive actions 20% more quickly. And that is great news, because we're going to be conquering stuff. And again, let's just leave behind enough guys to capture this, and... oh, they can't go any further, because this fort is blocking. So again, this fort is a real fort, it's not just a capital fort. So it has a zone of control over all of these adjacent provinces. And once we've entered that zone of control, our only options are to return to friendly territory or push on to the fort itself. Unless we have another way to get around, and then we could simply ignore it. Again, not always entirely intuitive. And anywhere, any friendly territory inside of that zone of control, this fort will work to liberate. Okay, these troops have done their job. Let's march over here and try to crush the army of Nepal and drive them off of our land. So I marked for this, I want our friendly troops to attach to us. And I'm actually going to instruct them. Jarkand, please come over here and assist with this siege. So close. Give up your points, guys. Okay, growth of administration. So our state and bureaucracy are growing because we are administering so many more lands. Okay, who do we give those to? Do we give them to people of pedigree, or nobility, or emirs, and make them happy and upset the merchant guilds? Do we turn to newly made men, our bourgeoisie, to run these things and upset the emirs? Do we turn to the ulama, or do we turn to the dhimmi? Well, I think we're going to turn to our emirs. Because if we sided against our emirs, they would lose some loyalty, and we would be in the range where we would be suffering penalties. And I do like this effect of diplomatic relations +1. Give us one more slot, so we'd be losing fewer points for being over. Yeah, that's an idea. Our merchant guilds are already really loyal, so this takes away some of our really high bonuses that we got. Though now our emirs are pretty influential. Let me just take a second to see how long this video has been going on. 26 minutes. So we'll wait a few more minutes, but not too many more. And we're going to catch up with these Nepali troops. It probably should be a bloodbath in our favor. We outnumber them by so much. Yeah, we killed them all. And we'll liberate this province and send those troops back to the front. We are suffering attrition here in our own territory, as the supply limit is so low. There's not much infrastructure in that province. And our power projection is starting to slip. We want to keep it at 50 or above, so that we can enjoy those nice bonuses. Who are our rivals at the present time? Just Timurids. So we could get more power projection just by doing anything to stand up to Timurids. So let's send them an insult. We can see we're at 51 right now. Now we're at 56 because we insulted them diplomatically. And that gives us, we can see up at the top, power projection, insulted rival, +5 for the next 5 years. And we cracked the walls of all 3 of these forts, which is nice to see, and Tirhut has surrendered. So now we can push on into Nepali territory. And we can finally get this technology. It's 5% cheaper because somebody else had discovered that technology before us. And it allows another group of ideas. So we can't pick our second one in the administrative idea group. They don't want to see like people take all of our ideas in military and just be able to crush everyone without any chance of the other side being able to fight back. So they require that at most half of your idea picks can be from one category. So we're going for influence. And then our next one could actually come from the administrative branch. We're going to pick our next one military. Probably going to go for quantity to get huge armies. And I think I'm going to stop here at 29 minutes and start up a new one. And then, once this war is over, take a break. Thank you for watching.